Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. This video does not have a spokesperson for it. It does not follow the typical critical incident briefing video format that so many other agencies basically follow. This occurred in Austin, Texas. I'll read a part of an article from KXAN. On Thursday, the Austin Police Department released body-worn and ring camera footage from the November 15 South Austin police shooting of 33-year-old Rajan David Moonesinghe. APD said about 12:28 a.m., 911 received a call about a man with a gun in the 2200 block of South 3rd Street. The caller said the man seemed to be scared of something inside his own home before pointing his rifle inside and firing. Austin police released a ring camera video that shows Moonesinghe outside his home with a rifle, pointing at something off camera and saying, "Are you sure you want this?" before firing the weapon. In the background, you see an officer pull up. When the officer arrived, he gave Moonesinghe a verbal command to drop the gun before firing his department-approved firearm at Moonesinghe. APD said Moonesinghe was struck and fell to the ground, and the rifle was on the ground at his side. So that's about as far as I will go with going into what happened within the video. The officer who fired his gun, Officer Daniel Sanchez, was placed on administrative leave. He has 2 years and 9 months of service with APD. The family has comments about it, and it goes into what their comments are. I'll save that for a little bit later. Alright, so without further ado, here we go.
Austin 911, do you need police, fire, EMS, or mental health services?
Police and possibly mental health.
To what address or nearest cross street?
2301, second, or is this third? I forget. Fletcher. Second and Fletcher, I believe.
Oh, okay. And is it a house, duplex, or an apartment?
These are houses.
Okay. And is it happening at 2301 South 3rd?
No, it's across the street at a duplex on second.
Across the street at duplex on 2nd Street. Okay. And what's your first name?
There's a guy on the left side of the duplex approached me earlier today saying that he saw 2 suspicious people earlier. I was wanting to know if I saw them as well, and I hadn't. And he is currently running around outside with, I believe, a rifle. And he's just lifting it up and pointing it down the street.
Okay. So he's pointing a rifle down the street towards...
Yeah. And currently he's starting to go back inside. He's got all of his lights on now.
He's inside the house now?
He's standing in the doorway of his house.
Okay. Does he still have the rifle?
Yes.
Is he pointing, does it look like he's pointing it at anyone?
Currently it's at low ready.
Okay. It's still in his hands?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he black, white, Hispanic, Asian?
Looks to be white.
Could you see what color shirt?
Not a shirt. He's wearing a... What is that garment called? Looks kind of like most of a robe.
Okay, so can you see what color?
It's gray.
Gray, and you
And
see
he
the
has,
robe?
dark pants.
Okay. Does he appear to be under the influence of any drug or alcohol, or you can't tell?
Couldn't say for drugs. He's definitely too coordinated for alcohol.
Okay. And then, does he appear to have a mental health issue?
No idea.
Okay.
But considering how paranoid he's acting, might be.
Do you happen to know the name of the duplexes?
No, I wouldn't know the name of it.
Okay. Okay. And it's on 2nd Street, though?
Yeah.
Across the street.
And directly where Fletcher ends, right into the house that's right there.
Directly where Fletcher ends, okay. So where Fletcher hits 2nd Street, is it on the corner of Fletcher and 2nd?
It's on the top of the T, if you would.
Okay.
Like on Fletcher itself, there's 2301 on the left and an empty lot on the right, and then at the top of it is the duplex I'm talking about.
Are they different colors by any chance? How would they know which? Is there a car in the spot, or how would they know?
There is a car on the right side of the duplex, and they'll see
What
me. Can't tell. It's dark, and they don't have lights on over there.
It's a sedan?
Yeah, it looks like a 4-door.
Okay, but you don't know what color?
Yeah.
Okay.
For all that he keeps turning all of his lights on and off, they don't provide enough light to tell what color is over there.
Okay.
They'll see me in a gray 4-door sedan at 2301 itself.
Okay. And then, is he, doesn't really ask you. I'm sorry, I lost my question.
He almost seems to be scared of something inside of his home.
Oh, you said he's turning his lights on and off?
Yeah, the outside light. And it looks like he's currently pointing his rifle at the interior of his home.
So he's now pointing it inside his home?
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, he just fired.
He fired out to the street?
He fired into his home. The police are here.
Okay. Okay. Are you wanting to speak with officers? Or you
Fired again.
Okay. Oh, I hear it.
Oh, damn it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and let officers handle that. Thank you.
No problem.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
They said across the street at the duplex on 2nd Street, subject pulled action. Subject pointed a rifle towards the street. Subject now has the rifle down, but still in his hands, white male wearing a gray robe, dark pants. It's around to the gun other. Subject's locations on 2nd, across in the street of 2301. Units on the gun other. Subject is turning the outside. I'm sorry, all units open air.
Zero 09 shots taken, suspect down.
I'm sorry.
Suspect's down, hands are up.
I'm clear, suspect down.
You're not giving command.
I'm clear, giving command.
AR-15's on the ground.
I'm clear, AR-15 on the ground.
WMS stage, we're moving up. Yeah. You want this?
All right, so let's pause it right here. I guess some more information should be talked about. So this guy is a tech entrepreneur. He's a co-founder of a restaurant. Let me take a look back at it and see what it says. He's a co-founder of a restaurant consulting business. He had just returned from a trip, and this is according to his family. He had returned from a trip and suspected his home had been burglarized during the early morning hours of November 15. That's when he held a rifle outside his front door. In an exclusive interview with his mother, Ruth, and brother, Johan, the brother says he did nothing wrong. He had a gun. He was defending his house. He didn't point the gun. He was not menacing. He didn't look like he was going to shoot anyone. The brother said that he got the rifle to protect himself, and there had been recent crimes in the area. He called his friend and he said, "I think something's been moved around my house. Something strange is going on." The mom describes him as an amazing gift to her and many others. That's it. The family doesn't indicate anything in these interviews as him having mental health issues or anything like that. They were basically saying the police were wrong in what they did. And I'll go over that a little bit later, but not at this point. So, yeah, nothing in this article from where they interviewed the family indicates that he has any mental health issues or anything like that. So he's a tech entrepreneur, co-founder of a restaurant consulting business. That means that he has some level of intelligence, right? And of course, being co-founder, of such a thing, he could have a decent cash flow, could have, more money than others. And this rifle that we see could be an indication of that. Let me see if I can back this up just a little bit more to get it out of the... Well, it's probably about the best view I'm going to be able to get for you. The things that are on the rifle itself. Now, through this ring camera, we can't see much detail of anything. It's basically just the outline of stuff. So we can't see any markings or anything like that. But the looks of what is attached to the rifle, the two things up here, an EOTech holographic sight and a magnifier. If those are real, authentic items from the company EOTech, those things are expensive. He's probably got about $1,000 just in those two things alone on that rifle. This weapon-mounted light up here, that looks to be a cloud defensive weapon-mounted light. So that's almost about another $500 right there. So just these three things right here, it's around $1,500, give or take. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. And that is why there are companies out there who make counterfeits of things like those, because people will buy those counterfeit things. Just like when you go to a flea marketplace, you're going to see the counterfeit name brand clothing. Right? Like you'll see the the Tommy Hilfiger clothing in there. Like, that shit ain't fucking real. Like, that was not made by Tommy Hilfiger. It's just a knockoff stuff. But people will go to those and buy them. Of course, on the internet, these people are called pores. But that does exist. So I don't know for sure if those things are legit authentic items. But given the fact that he was an entrepreneur, part of this little tech company for restaurant consulting, it makes me think that they might be real. And that, to me, is just odd. Because if someone is going to be mentally stable enough to co-found a company and be semi-successful at it, very successful at it, whatever, and have enough extra money to go blow on this stuff, then that doesn't make me think that most of the time people like that are just fucking crazy. Like if you are able to hold a job and be holding a steady job and be stable enough in your life that all your other bills are taken care of, and plus, like where he's at, like I don't know exactly where this is at, but I mean it's decent looking. The car out there, we can't see much detail of it, but it's decent looking. I mean, it doesn't look like a fucking beat up beater or anything like that. So it looks like he's stable enough to hold a job and have enough disposable income to pay for those things. And yet he is acting rather odd in this video, almost crazy like. That's not something that you typically see out of the gun crowd. For example, with NFA items, like the belt-fed machine guns, the miniguns, the cannons, and the tanks, and all that shit. There's a reason why you never see those people commit crimes with their guns. Because they are such stable people that to get to that point to afford those things, like they got to be all there. Like there is no fucking psycho crazy bullshit, that makes them so unstable they can't manage their own life. So now, granted, this is not NFA stuff right here, but still, it's expensive. And when someone is stable enough to be able to afford stuff like that, they're able to manage their life correctly, and you just typically do not see this crazy, erratic behavior that he's displaying. Now, if he would have had some bullshit little $50 red dot sight thing on top of it, yeah. And had the bullshit forward assist grip that doubles as a bipod when you press a button and the legs pop out on it, yeah, sure. Like when you see people attach goofy, cheap-ass shit to their guns, that can be an indication that they're not stable enough in life. Because they're obviously not able to afford the premium things, right? Like they're having to resort to that poor shit. Why are they resorting to that poor shit? Because they're unstable in life. They can't hold a good, steady job. They can't manage other things in their life to afford those more top-tier premium items. So if this stuff is all legit, if it's all real stuff, then I would imagine that the rifle itself is probably a mid-tier, top-tier kind of rifle. So this setup, in and of itself, could be over $2,000 of gun and accessories. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with this guy. I don't know if, he's on some kind of medication and he got a wrong dose. He's off his medication. Like, I don't know. Like, something's just not right here with this guy. And there's nothing in the articles that indicate that the police suspected that someone was in the house. Like, there's no investigation into that. I would think that if there was a legit belief that there was someone who was actually in that house, it would have been talked about. So there's no indication that there was actually someone in there. This guy is just possibly seeing shit. And who is he talking to? Is he actually talking to someone, or is he just talking out loud to himself? I don't know. But it's very peculiar, very odd. I wish there was more information on this, because this is an interesting enough case to where, damn it, we need more information, because this isn't normal. Alright. Moving on. Oops.
Are you sure? Oh my god, you're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid.
You see a police car drive in the background. I'll back that up. So, watch the street. Boom, police car. Yeah, you're about to see another one roll up. So he fired another round.
It wasn't me! Fuck!
Alright, we'll back that up again.
It was... It wasn't me! Fuck! Perfect down, hands are up. It wasn't me! Put your hands to it now! It wasn't me! Hey, come guns! Yeah. Guns on the ground. Okay, ready? Move up, move. Good day, you good? Watch the door. Clear.
Alright, so we'll back this up again to the point where he gets popped. Alright, so from these officers' perspective, one, they are obviously responding to a call that's involving gunplay. As they're rolling up on scene, a shot is fired, and then another shot is fired. And just mere a second or two after the second shot being fired, and they're out on foot approaching this house, this guy emerges with his rifle. You hear the command, drop the gun, and then you hear shooting. And that is one of the things the family is complaining about. They're saying that he wasn't pointing the rifle at anyone or anything like that. The police basically used excessive force. From this perspective here, like I said, the officers are responding to a call of a guy with a rifle, acting erratic. As they're arriving on scene, gunfire is heard. And then as they're coming towards the house, immediately after hearing gunfire, he emerges around the corner with a gun in his hand. We have the luxury of being able to watch this video right here from this perspective and be able to replay it and watch it multiple more times and know exactly what's going on. From those officers' perspective, we don't get to see what's in their head and what's going through their mind. And that is one of the more important things to be considering. Because when you talk about use of deadly physical force, you will hear the wordage of "in fear of my life." Now, someone could be looking at this exact angle and be like, well, how could you be fearing for your life? His gun's pointing at the ground. When you look at it from their perspective, as they're rolling up on scene, shots are fired and this guy comes around the corner. They could have been thinking that he had fired at them and just missed. They could be thinking, because this guy is in a low ready stance with this rifle, that he could start shooting. And action beats reaction. So if you ever try and play a game with someone where you hold both your hands out, palms facing the ground, so both extend your arms a little bit, hands side by side, and palms are facing to the ground. Have the other person stick their hands out and have them go under your hands with their palms facing up towards you. And have some distance between them, like a couple inches. And that person whose hands are on the bottom, their task is to remove their hands from out under yours and then slap the top of your hands with their hands. That person is going to be able to smack your hands the majority of the time before you could ever pull them back away in time to prevent that from happening. It's action versus reaction. So if they waited too long, this guy could have brought that rifle up and started dumping rounds towards them before they could even react to fire back. And he could have got lucky and popped one of them with a rifle round. The brain is quick. It is, but it's not that quick. Generally, a person can initiate contact, initiate movement, action, and you cannot respond fast enough to do anything about that. The basic OODA loop, right? Observe, orient, decide, and act. You first have to see that person doing something. They're doing it, and they're doing it quickly. You're observing. Your brain's going through this process of orientating where you're at, where they're at, where other things are at. Coming up with a decision in the head. Do I shoot? Do I not shoot? Do I just move back to cover? Do I do this? Come up with that decision, then you act. And your brain has to send signals down to your extremities, and if your gun's at low ready, you got to bring that gun up and bring sight up to your eye. And as you're doing this OODA loop, it's in this constant loop cycle. So as you're bringing that sight up, you're observing and orienting, and then boom, sight in your face, looking through sight, observing and orienting. If things have changed, you're now, making new decisions in your head and then deciding to act on that. Okay, press trigger, disengage safety, and pow. Of course, when I speak it all out loud, that sounds like forever. When the brain is doing it, it's pretty quick, but it's just not that quick. And your adversary can, majority of the time, be able to beat you with their action because they're acting first. Whenever somebody gets to make the first move, they have an advantage because you're having to play catch up. You're having to respond to what they're doing. So, although he did not have the rifle pointed at them, I would strongly argue that they had a fear for their life. They've heard shots being fired. This guy comes around the corner. He's got a rifle in his hand. Based on their training, based on their experience, action versus reaction, rifle cartridge, extremely devastating. It'll go straight through soft armor, etc. I 100%, 110% believe that these officers were truly, legitimately in fear for their lives. And that is what matters in a court of law. If this guy did not want to be shot, then he shouldn't have been acting so odd with his rifle. Now, is there anything illegal about walking around on your property with a gun? No. Fuck, this is America. We got half the world's guns in our fucking country alone. So there's nothing wrong with what he's doing from a legal sense, but it's certainly odd. Like, people do not walk around that late with a gun out. And then point the gun inside their house and start talking to themselves and shoot into their fucking house. So although he was legal in what he was doing, it was most certainly odd as fuck and warranted at least someone to come check out and see what's going on. Now, he fired his gun within the city limits, so I'd imagine at that point he did break the law. A lot of cities have ordinances that say you can't discharge guns within city limits unless it's for, self-defense purposes or something like that. Just shooting rounds off without, justification like that, then it's against the law to do that. So at that point, yeah, definitely the officers would have their justification to come to investigate what's going on. Because a possible crime is being committed at that point, or violation, whatever.
It wasn't me! Fuck! Suspect down and rough. It wasn't me! Put your hands to it now! It wasn't me! Hey, come guys! Yeah.
So you'll see a third officer who's parked. He's running, getting to him.
Move up, move.
So they got good communication and everything. I'll go into more about the review on them when I get to their body cam footage. So we'll go to that here in a second. All right, let's get into this. Nothing wrong with your audio. It's just in buffer mode.
Draws a gun! Where is he? David 309, shots taken, suspect down.
Suspect's down, hands are up.
Show us your hands, do it now!
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. 309,
Hey,
give me
come to us,
command.
come to us! Yeah. Guns on the ground.
AR-15's on the ground.
Okay, you ready? Move up, move. Hold on here.
All right, so before we go any further, let's go back to the front. So he starts off in his vehicle, and although you can't see it, what I think is going on during this time frame is his right hand is reaching down and hitting a button to unlock the rifle from its mount. It varies from agency to agency on how these things are set up, but the rifle mounts that's in the vehicle, they can, once you put a rifle in it and you close the little locking arm on it, or clamp, whatever, the only way to undo that is, one, it may have an emergency key bypass, so you just stick a key in it and unlock it. Its primary way of being unlocked is pressing a button, and that disengages the magnetization that keeps that thing locked in place. So it varies on where these things are placed at. Sometimes, if it's like a smart siren control board, it could be wired to one of those buttons. If it's on a switch panel, It could be one of the switches, or it could be a switch all by itself and is either on the console portion, or it could be off to the side somewhere where it's kind of hidden. But I think that's what he's doing. He's reaching down and hitting that disconnect on his rifle mount. So I like that he is getting his rifle out. He's going to a call that's involving a rifle. I'm sorry, it is a rifle, but it's involving a gun. And that seems to be one of my chief complaints, my chief gripes when it comes to these videos, is officers responding to calls involving guns and not getting their rifles out. Responding to a gun call or any call that has a higher probability of it becoming a deadly force scenario, you want to bring a rifle. Rifles are far superior to pistols. Rifles are more accurate, and the terminal ballistics are way better. A rifle has a longer barrel, and it has more points of contact on there to help you further stabilize that rifle and restrict the most amount of movement in the overall system, thus making it more accurate. With a pistol, you only get 2 points of contact, your dominant hand and your non-dominant hand, and that's it. The littlest amount of movement from just trying to fire the gun, pulling the trigger, can cause the gun to move enough to where your shot placement is going to be off. And up close, it may be just a little bit, may not matter a whole lot, but as you add increments of distance, that becomes more noticeable, and you could miss the target completely. I don't have any statistical numbers on it, but when it comes to gunfights, especially when you look at gunfights, who's doing it the most? It's obviously police getting in the gunfights, where this data would be recorded at. It's not like the thugs themselves are putting out data about their gunfights, right? But when you look at the police gunfights and all the information that is there, you will see that oftentimes there are missed rounds, and there's a multitude of things that go into why there are missed rounds in a gunfight. But one of the things is they are using pistols predominantly, and as I noted, a pistol has a very short barrel, only 2 points of contact. The littlest amount of movement can throw shot placement way off. The terminal ballistics are night and day between rifle and pistol. Center mass with rifle cartridge, it only takes but a few rounds to rapidly incapacitate a threat. With a pistol, it may take more than 5 rounds. It may take up to 10 rounds or more aimed at center mass to get that threat to be incapacitated. There's a lot more people walking around the day who've been shot multiple times with pistols than there are people who've been shot multiple times with rifles. There's some people out there who've been shot with rifles and are still walking around the day, but there's not that many. Not that many compared to pistols. So he gets the rifle out, and I can skip forward just a little bit. So the rifle comes out. Let's skip forward too much at that point. He has to charge that rifle to get it into play.
How's it going?
So although I like and appreciate that he's getting his rifle out, I just don't like how it's been executed. Personally, I think that the rifle should be made ready. It should be gotten out and made ready before you ever get out of the car when going to these type of things. What I recommend, what I think the best practice is as soon as the call comes out and you're going to start to be en route to that call, pull off to the side of the road, get the rifle out, charge it, throw the sling around your neck, and go. If you've got a plate carrier to put on, you got chest rig, whatever, throw that on too. Throw that on, get the rifle charged, slung around your neck, and then boom, go to the call. That way, when you arrive on scene, you can dismount from the vehicle and your rifle is ready to go. Only thing you have to do is point the rifle at the target, disengage the safety, and press trigger. That's it. If you don't do that, then as soon as you get up on scene, you've got to unlock the rifle from its mount, pull the rifle out of the mount, bring the rifle, charge the rifle, bring the rifle up, disengage safety, then press trigger. That's a lot of steps. And that's a lot of steps, especially if you are taking fire. So by just pulling over, stopping right after you get the call, and getting all that stuff done, it eliminates a bunch of steps. That way, as soon as you get there and dismount, boom, throw that rifle into play. It's plausible that if you don't do that and you get on scene, you may never have the opportunity to get that rifle out. You may be taking fire and you just can't sit there trying to fuck around with that, getting that button and pressing it and getting that rifle out and trying to get it into play. It may not happen. It may not work out for you. So get the rifle out and ready to go before you get on scene there. His sling, so he started out with his sling kind of tightened up on the rifle itself. Let's see if we can get another view of that. So rifle comes out. We don't see a sling dangling everywhere. And it looks like it's nice and folded up there on the side. Then when he gets out, it starts to come unraveled. So sling storage, I think, is pretty important. And he had his rifle or his rifle sling stowed in a way that it didn't get in the way when he went to go pull it out of the rifle mount. So that was a good thing. And I highly recommend that you stow your sling on your rifle so that it doesn't just dangle everywhere. You can accomplish this by taking bicycle inner tube, cutting it, and making Ranger bands out of that. You can buy Ranger bands as a product. Buy that stuff. You can buy, I think, some Velcro tabs that you can use to help manage the sling on your rifle. But I found that just taking bicycle inner tubes and cutting them and making your own Ranger band seems to work the best. But whatever you do, sling management is an important thing. That way, as you're pulling it out of the mount, it's not getting caught up on stuff. It's not fucking getting wrapped around the steering wheel. And then as you're getting out and you're leaving the vehicle, boom, snag, the damn rifle staying inside the car. You get the idea. So another thing that I think this is one of the only times I've seen this in a video, but pay attention to the camera. Field of view, you'll notice that he's in buffer mode. There's no sound, and then all of a sudden sound comes on, but you do not see him reach up and do the double tap. That was him probably talking on the shoulder mic. Rifle comes out, and boom. So both hands were full. He never reached up to activate the camera. So how did this camera get activated? Well, Axon has a pretty cool feature on their cameras. So there are certain things that once they happen, it can automatically turn the camera on to record mode. One thing is the tasers. You can have a special battery on the taser that as soon as you flip the safety off, it causes the camera to automatically start recording. So basically, it's like Bluetooth. The cameras will receive a signal from like I said, the taser, and it'll start recording. And it's not just one camera; it's whatever camera is within range of that transmitter. So you could have 5 people standing around. They got some varying distances between them, and one of them activates the taser, so long as it has a special battery in it. Activate the taser, turn it on, and then boom, all their cameras will start recording at once. There's a holster sensor that you can get that pairs with the Axon body camera, And as soon as you pull your gun out of the holster, boom, it makes the camera start recording. Axon also makes a vehicle camera system, and as soon as you activate your level 3 lights, lights in siren, it will automatically turn the camera on top of the in-car cameras as well. So those are some things that can cause that camera to automatically kick on. And like I said, I think this is probably the first video that I've seen where that technology was captured in play, I guess, so to speak. Pretty cool, neat little thing. Moving on.
Throw the gun! Where is he?
David 309, shots taken, suspect down.
So, based off his radio traffic, I believe that this officer heard that guy fire his rifle and perceived that he was possibly being shot at by this guy. You can kind of see, if you watch closely around the porch area, you can kind of see him.
Throw the gun! Where is he?
You can't see him very well because of this bright-ass security light up here.
David 309, shots taken, suspect.
Throw the gun! Where is he?
David 309, shots taken, suspect down.
Suspect's down, hands are up.
Shut your hands! Do it now!
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. 309,
Hey,
giving
come
command.
nuts, come.
So, the camera does not do any justice for what the human eye sees. As good as the Axon Body 3 is, it's just still, it'll never be the same as what you could see through the human eye. So, when you do look through a camera and there's lights and stuff involved, the way the light comes in and through the shutter and everything, it can cause the camera, the way it records to be a little bit different than what the human eye can see. So this large light up there, of course we can't see a whole lot because of that light. It doesn't mean that they can't see a whole lot with their naked eye, but even with the naked eye and bright light like this, there is a thing called photonic barrier, and that is where you're looking downrange. There's a bright enough light source kind of casted towards you, and when you try to use your weapon-mounted light, you're not able to overpower the brightness of that light coming towards you and be able to see what's around that light. So try to imagine you're out in the middle of the field at night, and the headlights on a car are turned on and they're facing towards you. Right? What are you going to see? You're just going to see those bright headlights of that car. Now, let's say you take out a small keychain light and you click that keychain light on and you point it towards that car. What are you going to see? Nothing. You're just still going to see those bright ass fucking headlights. What if you take a, let's say like a small, little emergency household flashlight, and you turn it on, you point it towards that car. What are you going to see? Well, you might start to see a little bit of reflection off the grill. You might kind of be able to see kind of the windshield, maybe, stuff like that. As you increase your candela, your lumens, and get it as bright as you can, you start to see a whole lot more of the vehicle. So when you take a light that is pushing several thousand candela and you point it towards that car, well, now you're able to start making out more of the car. Those lights are still, from the headlights, are still bright, but you're overcoming that photonic barrier. Now, let's say you had something that was able to produce the same amount of light as the fucking sun. Well, you're going to see every damn thing about that car. It doesn't matter the fucking headlights are on or even on bright. You're still going to see everything there. So To be able to break those photonic barriers, you need to have a good weapon-mounted light. And this is where you get what you pay for really comes into play. And you just can't skimp out on weapon-mounted lights. So this is why the top brands that I recommend are so fucking expensive. Number one, it's just because those lights can take an abuse and keep working, but it's also because they're so fucking bright that they do very well in regards to good reach, good throw, good spill, and being able to break those photonic barriers. So when it comes to weapon-mounted lights, Surefire, Streamlight, Mod Light, and Cloud Defensive are the only manufacturers I would even recommend to use for weapon-mounted lights. And like I said, there's a reason why one light just to go on a rifle could be about somewhere between $400 and $700. About the damn fucking price of a gun. There's a reason for that. One, you can beat the shit out of it, it's still going to work. But two, it just has a powerful amount of light that has good throw, lots of candela, and it's able to break those photonic barriers. You just can't really get that same quality of stuff out of a cheaper light, and that's why I would never recommend anything like an O light or anything like that. Just Surefire, Streamlight, Mod Light, Cloud Defensive. That's it. So, with that being said, we can see that this guy is activating his weapon-mounted light. Now, because the camera lens and the way it sees things and everything, it's just not doing our human eye looking through this any justice, because we're just seeing it through a camera lens. For them, when they were looking through their eyes and everything, it may have looked a little bit different for them. So that bright light coming off that rifle may have been able to overpower, so to speak, these bright lights and be able to reach in through that doorway and illuminate that open doorway. So I'll hit forward, I'll hit play, and we'll watch this as they make their way forward.
Guns. Yeah. Guns on the ground.
AR-15's on the ground.
Okay, you ready? Move up. Move.
Have EMS stage. We're moving up.
You good, Daniel?
I'm good.
Okay.
Open the door. Clear.
Got it. Move past. Move past. Push past it.
All right. So this is the doorway I was talking about. It's dark inside there. So at the distance that they were at, being really far away, that bright-ass security light, if you did not have a powerful enough weapon-mounted light and you shined it into this doorway, you're probably not going to be able to see anything in there. But if you've got a good light, has good candela, good throw, and you can pierce that photonic barrier, you're going to be able to see this dark space right here and know what's inside of it or what's not inside of it. All right, so enough on that. I could try to talk a little bit more about photonic barriers and lights and stuff like that, and even maybe try to do a video on it. But like I said, the way the cameras work and the light and everything, it's just not going to do it any justice of what the human eye is able to see. So to really get a good understanding and comprehension of what I'm talking about, this is just something you got to see in person. So you've got to go to a low light tactics class and go through it and experience the photonic barrier, see other lights being used in class, and that's where you're going to get that aha moment and fully understand, oh, so this is why this light that I've got is $500 fucking dollars. Yeah, it's the cat's meow. So to really fully understand it, you just got to go experience it yourself. So I highly recommend signing up for a low light tactics course and get some trigger time at night with low lights. That's the only way that you're going to be able to understand fully what I'm talking about and to really appreciate why those manufacturers that I mentioned price their stuff so high. All right, moving on.
free though? No, I'll hold lethal. Austin, police! Anybody there? Hook him, hook him. Hook him. You get it?
Alright, so I like that he's using his sling. So, there's been times in other videos where you'll see an officer set their rifle down on the ground or lean it up against the wall or hand it off to someone else. That always annoys the shit out of me. A sling is like a holster for your handgun. The sling is the rifle's holster, so to speak, right? Utilize it. There's no need to set a rifle on the ground or hand it off to someone. Sling the damn thing. Keep it on you. Whenever I see people hand their rifle off or shotgun off or lay it down, lean it up against something, that tells me that they have not had good training with their long gun. A good rifle class should have the student wearing their rifle when they're not shooting. There should never be a rifle rack right up there around the shooting range area for everyone to put their rifles on. Everyone needs to be wearing the damn things. Unfortunately, a lot of law enforcement training facilities and ranges follow some stupid, goofy-ass rules. And they also don't have, not all of them, but some of them just don't have very good instructors. There are police shooting ranges out there where they tell the students, the police officers, that they cannot have a loaded gun while on the range unless they are actively shooting their gun. Yeah, I'll say that again. There are police shooting ranges where no one but the police go to. And their rule is you cannot have a loaded gun while you're there unless you are on the line actively shooting your gun. Any other time, the expectation is you walk around with an empty gun in your holster. No magazine in it and the slide locked back to the rear. That is unrealistic and just flat out fucking stupid. Why are trained police officers being told they cannot walk around in the shooting range with a loaded gun? You don't trust them? That doesn't make sense. If you don't trust them there, then you shouldn't trust them at all out in public. You shouldn't trust the school resource officers in the school walking around little kids with loaded guns. Right? So, with that kind of bullshit mentality in place, what do you think happens with rifles? Well, if they can't walk around with a loaded pistol, they sure as shit aren't going to be walking around with a rifle slung on them. So when they get done shooting rifles, the rifles go into a rack or they get laid on a table. That's unrealistic. You're not going to have fucking tables out on the side of the road to lay your rifle down on when you're not using it anymore. You're going to have to sling that son of a bitch. So, like I said, there are shooting ranges out there for police that just follow asinine bullshit rules that make no sense whatsoever, and they create training scars. And they do not produce effective fighters. So I'm glad to see that he's throwing the sling on and utilizing it. That tells me that whoever trained him as far as guns and stuff at least had them utilize their sling more often.
Yep. Roll over on your stomach, buddy. So we can help you. Roll on your stomach so we can help you.
He's having trouble.
Yeah, he's having trouble. All right, so this is pretty much the end of this guy's body cam. We'll switch on to the next. All right, here's the second body cam. So again, this starts off in buffer mode.
Additional shots fired. Coming to you. Where is he? Hey. Suspect's down. Hands are up. Shots are.
Back this up. So I'm not 100% sure what caused him to get his camera activated. We don't see that he reaches up to hit the camera. So it could be that he initially went to go for his pistol and started to pull his pistol out of the holster and then decided, hey, I need rifle. And just that pulling up of the pistol caused the camera to activate. I'm not really sure. But he seems to fumble with getting the door open. And he gets the rifle out and then hits something up there on that control head. I don't know what he's hitting. But he gets the rifle out, and you can see that the sling on it is stowed away pretty nice. And that could be the magnetic lock that he's hitting. You know, it could be that him opening the door is what caused the camera to activate as well.
Additional shots fired. Coming to you. Where is he? Hey. Suspect's down. Hands are up. Show us your hands, doing that.
But what I talked about earlier, the best thing being is stop as you're going to the call, get everything out, and it's all ready to go. So you can see that even with him, the steps that he had to take to even get the rifle out and put it into play were kind of long. And he was not able to get out in time to be able to be there as this officer was having to shoot. So there was even a little bit more of a delay on this guy. And so just imagine if they were taking rounds and he was going through that process trying to get that rifle out. It would have delayed his ability to return fire and suppress the threat. So again, more evidence, so to speak, of why it's just a better idea to stop the car while you're out to a call, get the rifle out, charge it, sling it, have it ready to go. That way, as soon as you get there, boom, put it to play.
Ow! You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
So notice the
nuts,
light from his
You good?
rifle.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's a pretty good
Hey,
light.
come nuts! Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, like I said, viewing things through a camera just doesn't do it any justice. To get the full appreciation of what's going on, you just have to see it with your own eyes. But you can see that he had a very bright light, had a very good tight beam on it, good throw, and he was able to illuminate that area pretty good. And for him, overcome this photonic barrier of the security lights being bright and shining out towards them.
Guns on the ground.
Guns on the ground.
Okay, you ready? Move up. Move.
Yeah, we're in that stage. We're moving up.
You good, Daniel?
We're good.
Okay.
Walk to the door. Clear.
Now, of course, because of light reflecting off this and everything, it's causing the camera to do its thing. You can still have, with your naked eye, a lot of reflection coming off stuff, and it can play a bit of a trick on your eyes, but it's like I said, it's way different with your human eyes than what you're seeing through the camera. But I can assure you that if you were standing out here in person with these bright-ass lights, you probably wouldn't be able to see through that doorway. But with his weapon-mounted light, he's able to break that photonic barrier and see inside that doorway and make sure that there's not another person inside there waiting for him.
Hold.
Got it. Move past.
So you see all of his rifle casings here, and you see his rifle on the ground.
Push past us, Burrito.
Nope.
I'll hold lethal. Hook him. Hook him. Hook him. You get it? Hook him. I'll take over. Okay?
Yep. Roll over on your stomach, buddy. So we can help you. Roll on your stomach so we can help you.
He's having trouble. Yeah, we're good.
And you hear the cavalry in the background coming to him. All right, so not really a whole lot to say about this camera view. Just really illustrating some of my talking points from the first video. So let's go to that last video. All right, let's get in this last video here. So nothing wrong with audio, it's just in buffer mode. Okay, so let's back this up. A couple things. So after watching the second video and this video, I kind of think that them opening the door is what is causing the body cameras to activate. That is a way that the system could be set up. I guess in a way, having that set up like that can be a benefit when you all of a suddenly stop and throw the car door open to get out, and it just activates the camera for you. But also in that same breath, I guess you could say that I also think that it'd probably be pretty damn annoying. I mean, think about the amount of times that you just stop to get out of the car. And every time you get out of the car, the damn camera's going to activate. But I guess that's a thing that some people or some agencies are just, willing to deal with. A bunch of bullshit, 5-second recordings of the camera being started and then someone having to turn it off after they opened the car door and got out. But teach their own. So this right here, see that again. Oops. So when I talked about stopping before you ever get to the scene and getting your stuff out, this is why. This dude takes a while to get his gun out. You hear shots being fired in the background, and he's still dicking around trying to get his rifle out. What if he started taking rounds and he hadn't got that rifle out yet? He may have to back away from the car and take cover and never be able to get the rifle out. His buddies down there could be taking rounds and he's not able to get in the fight to help them suppress the threat. So the best thing, in my opinion, like I said, is stop. Before you ever get to the scene, while you're out, just stop. Get the rifle out, charge it, sling it, and then when you do get on scene, boom. As soon as you fucking dismount from that vehicle, the only thing you got to do is put your sights on target, disengage safety, pull trigger. That's simple. This guy, he's having to put in work to get his rifle out. So, that brings up another talking point. Got a lot of stuff in there. All right. So the talking point of keeping a rifle in the trunk of the car. So some people have to keep their rifle in the trunk of the car because they just don't have a rifle mount up in the cab of the vehicle. It happens. As you can see with his trunk was full of stuff. And that is a common thing with police cars. Patrol officers have to carry a bunch of stuff around in the trunk of their car. Number one, they got a spare tire in the back. And then on top of that, they may have a box that has evidence collection stuff in it. Has, paper bags and plastic bags and little evidence boxes, maybe some markers, crime scene tape. They may have rain gear in there. They may have, their winter jacket thrown in there. They might have, a camera case in there for taking photographs, traffic cones, a box of flares. All kinds of shit could be in the trunk of the car. When it comes to life-saving stuff, the life-saving stuff needs to be on top. It doesn't need to be in the bottom of what's in that trunk. You don't need to fight through stuff to get to it. So I've talked about this before with first aid kits or trauma bags in the trunk of the car. I've always said that trauma bags should be at the top. Well, if you've got your rifle in the trunk, that should also be staged to where it's at the top and easily accessible. His rifle was in what looked and sounded like a soft-sided rifle case, or some will call it a rifle bag. That, in my opinion, should be left partially unzipped, or depending on its design. If it's more of the rectangle-shaped kind of deal, and you can, as you're at the back of the car, if it's in a horizontal plane, or it's parallel with the bumper, I guess you could say, if it's oriented like that, then you could have the top of the bag unzipped to the corners. That way, it's like an open taco, and down inside of it is the rifle. And then all you got to do is just reach in, boom, grab rifle, and take it out. And you still got the padded rifle case, keeping that rifle and its accessories protected, and nothing causing anything to become misaligned, or flashlight being accidentally turned on and burning the batteries, or that light itself getting so hot causing a fire in the trunk. If the rifle case is oriented some other way, you may not be able to do that because the rifle could slide out of the bag or something like that. So it depends on the rifle bag and how you can position that in the trunk of the vehicle. I prefer, like I said, rifle case. If you imagine yourself standing at the back of the car and you look down, rifle case is long ways, kind of parallel with the bumper, and it's oriented so that when you unzip the bag, you're looking down into a taco, I guess you could say, and the rifle's inside of it so that gravity works with you. And the top of the bag, obviously the rifle's not going to jump out of the damn bag, right? So it's going to stay inside that bag, and just have the zippers off to the corners. That way you can reach in and grab it out. If you have to have the zippers closed all the way, or you just can't get that rifle placement like that, and then obviously you have to keep it closed, and it's just zippers on there, I recommend getting some brightly colored paracord. You can get some neon greens, bright yellow paracord, off Amazon, pretty cheap. Take that and create a pull tab for those zippers. That way it's something that is quickly, easily identifiable, because when you think about, these tactical rifle bags, right, they're all fucking subdued colors, and zippers are normally, black and subdued colors as well. And in low light, well, fuck, it can be hard to figure out where that zipper's at. So if you have a bright colored pull tab on those zippers, that's going to help you be able to find that a lot easier. And having a bright yellow paracord pull tab on that zipper is not going to be, non-tactical for you. I mean, you're just using it to store the rifle in the damn trunk of the car. It's not like it's ever going to give away your position. It's not like you're a sniper dragging this damn thing behind you or anything like that. I think you could even find glow-in-the-dark paracord, and that might even be an option too. I think that there are some tritium zipper pull tabs, kind of like your glow-in-the-dark weapon sights. I think there are pull tabs that are made like that. So that is even an option too. Just something that you can, in low light, look inside the trunk, and boom, it's very easy to see. You just pull that apart and get to the rifle. Moving on.
Okay, coming. Move up. Move. I'm on you.
So he had to run a little bit.
You good, Daniel? You good? Okay. Watching the door. Clear.
All right, so I'll back this up. You can kind of see just a little bit what I was talking about earlier with photonic barrier. Now his arm does end up blocking this light, but right before it does, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference in what you can see through the camera without his weapon light being turned on, and then what you can see once it's turned on.
Watching the door.
So like I said, his arm does end up covering this light a little bit, but even in this freeze frame right here, you could tell the difference from earlier and now. So his weapon light is providing a good amount of throw. It's bright enough. It's got a lot of candela. It's able to overpower that photonic barrier.
Clear. Hold.
Got it. Move past.
Move
Move
stairs.
Push past us. Burrito.
Go.
I'll hold lethal.
How's the police? Anybody in here?
Hook him. You get it? Hook him, we'll take over, okay?
Yep.
Alright, and that's pretty much it with this video. All you hear is the background of them cuffing the guy and the sirens approaching. So, this guy, what he did was he pushed past the guy that was on the ground, and he started to take this spot to dominate and make sure that they don't get ambushed by someone inside. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of standing in a doorway. Doorways are known as fatal funnels, and they're just not the greatest place to be hanging out at. I think he could have been outside and still be able to dominate that spot right there, provide lethal cover, and achieve the same result without putting himself in that fatal funnel. That's it on this video. We don't see anything else. I'm pretty sure what they did after this is they probably went inside and did a protective sweep, look for any potential victims inside the house, because that's a possibility. I mean, he was shooting into the house. He could have been shooting at someone, so they would have done a protective sweep, go in, look for any potential victims and or other armed people. Not much else to say with this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.